Islam Dewayne Byfield-Bey. It is March the 27th, 2019. I'm at Whole Foods in Annapolis, Maryland. And like I always like to state, Imani Gray-Bey and I, Rhonda Arrington-Bey, don't know anyone personally here in Annapolis. We try to respect everyone's boundaries. We know that we are among a telepathic society who, too many of them have not been naturalized to uphold divine laws of freedom. And because they have not been naturalized, too many of them, to uphold the Constitution of 1787, the proclamations of Abraham Lincoln, and the 13th Amendment 20 sections, they are vulnerable to be used as spiritual and mental terrorists. Spiritual and mental terrorists. So as I'm reading, I just got through reading the Quran. My genitals were attacked spiritually at Whole Foods in a sexual manner. And also just now I'm reading Earth Sky. And so what these spirits try to do, if they cannot, they'll try to engage and distract. And when they cannot distract you, then they start sending sharp pains like to your head or around your cranium. And what this does is can cause, if you allow, can deter you from what you're trying to do. Like I said, sometimes they would send telepathic messages, Mason. Imani Gray-Bey and I, we did a video about how we have never implied that we want to be a Freemason, especially not in this area, because obviously something is wrong with those who have the science of telepathy and have not been naturalized properly. So even if we did want to learn from that degree, we would do it from Moors that are free or are specialized in our science, because it is our science. I don't want to learn from someone who were taught by my ancestors and now have switched it around and made it into a form of slavery, bondage, a breeding tactic for unclean spirits. So we don't want to learn from unclean spirits. So too many of them say Masons, so we already know that we are among those that are not like us but look like us. So they'll send a telepathic message saying Mason, as though they're trying to initiate. But I know that those of higher thought, whether they're Anglo-Saxons or Moors, would not behave in such manner, and I would hope that most of them of higher thought, like the 28 Anglo-Saxons and the 34 Moors that created the Constitution, would be inside the constitutional fold. And so that means they have a higher thought process in understanding what freedom is. They don't have to send a telepathic message and threaten to rape it so they can breed like an animal to try to breed their species in someone else's line. So that's exactly what has been done with those that we are among here. They are not operating on a higher thought process. They are operating as slaves. They're being used as animals, as slaves. And so that's what I'm experiencing now. But I'm okay. I'm well. I didn't have to work today at Burger King. The day is Wednesday. It's March 27, 2019. I always say most of the people that come to Burger King are from the United States Navy and the United States Army. The pale skin that's not from this landmass. Sometimes I say from this landmass, but they're not from this landmass. They came over here and been on this landmass for a while. And then those under the status of black, Negro, and then that which is Spanish. A large amount of them seem to be from Mexico. Then there's also the El Salvador, and other places that speak Spanish, but a large amount of them seem to be from Mexico. That's pretty much it. And so right now I'm reading Earth Sky. When I started doing the video, the sharp, dull pain stopped that was being forced spiritually towards my cranium. And once again, this is a form to engage. And so it's good to know this, and then possibly to cause harm, not possibly, will cause harm if you allow. There are hospitals that are created for profit. So these creatures or these spirits, unclean, that have this science of telepathy and are able to send forth pains and have been doing it for a very, 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 very long time. We just didn't know about it. Those hospitals that were created for profit and not to heal, because there's two types. There's some hospitals that are actually, they are created and they demonstrate themselves to heal. So these spirits would not be beneficial to them, because they would probably, if one of them tried to cause harm or have a history of causing harm, they would not even be hired. They would not be hired in the medical field. Because they would do an extensive background, a psychological test. They would not even be hired. But then you have the hospitals that were created for profit. And so these spirits that have this ability, that are telepathic and have this ability to cause harm, these unclean spirits are profitable. They're valuable to these hospitals, this medical field, the psychiatric ward. So that's the connection. And those and also there's a connection to health and exercising, what you eat, your thoughts. All that is in connection to this agency or these spirits that definitely have been so valuable to these hospitals that have been created to make profit but not to heal. Two types of hospitals in medical field. So that's what I see, because I think about some of the doctors that left the practice of being a doctor and created books. They actually wrote books of how important it is to alkaline your blood, and it seemed that they've done this for a reason. I can only imagine what they experienced while they went through their journey in the medical field and what they saw. But because I've read books and they were done by doctors that spoke of the importance of how you need to alkaline your blood, and also a holistic way of healing. Okay, holistic way of healing. They spoke of cancer patients being healed holistically. All right. Then I know that there are medical doctors and nurses that actually are in the medical field to heal. Now maybe after they realized how things were changing, they got out of it, because maybe with their conscience, maybe once again they had that seed of compassion, they just couldn't do it anymore, and they decided to write books and try to help the earth and the universe raise their frequency that way. But nonetheless, there's still too many hospitals that are created through profit, and you have many, many unclean spirits helping them send soulful Moors, or those who do not consider themselves Moors, to the hospital so that they can be used, maybe for organs, whatever they need to use them for. So once again, I guess the ending of this video is I had a great read. I read the Holy Quran. As I was reading the Holy Quran here, my gentles were attacked spiritually, sexually, and at the time when I kept looking behind me, it was predominantly pale skin behind me. So it was pretty full. In a sexual manner, they were attacked. It was pretty full in Whole Foods. But you know, once again, as I do a video, it stops, and I give testimony. Then as I was reading Earth Sky, the same thing. So I know that there's a business of also possession. So many times these spirits want to possess the mind. So if they can possess your mind, then they can use your body as they want. They can breed you. Okay, they can breed you, keep this fallacy of deceit going, create a whole new you. Okay, have you behave out of yourself, where you are actually behaving like an animal. You're behaving like a savage instead of trying to raise your frequency and not cause harm. You be one of those that are causing harm, mentally, spiritually, and physically. One of those that are being used as spiritual terrorists, mental terrorists. And so this is definitely real. It's real, and thank goodness Allah is great. And the earth is cleansing. The universe is cleansing. And a change is coming. Islam.